So would you like to tell us about that what is USMLE, and how can one get into this USMLE, the whole process? What is it? There are, a lot of people who will come and give you some suggestions on, what to do, how to do. But would you like to tell us something on, what not to do? Like, what is the thing that you shouldn't be doing if you are, taking up with the USMLE exam? How would you like to tell our audience about the mental pressure that they face, because a lot of people are scared to take the first step in their life. So how to go on taking the first step about all this, because this can be hard on yourself, may not be. So, hello to our wonderful listeners and welcome back to Academically. Today, we have our guest, Dr. Pradeep Vitta. So, welcome, sir, and thank you so much for taking your time. So, guys, as you all know, I am Sunidhi Shahi, your host for today. And today, we are going to discuss everything related to USMLE. And as sir himself has cleared his USMLE exam, so of course, it is going to be very, very beneficial for all of you, because today we'll be covering everything related to USMLE, about the exams, about the whole process, about the fees, salaries, job opportunities, everything we'll be covering. So yeah, I'll just start, doctor. My first question with you will, I think everybody would want to know that, what motivated you to take USMLE? Like, what was your thought?
Yeah, so this was, I think, way back in 2012, in that period when I just finished my MBBS. And obviously, when you're at those crossroads between you're just being a freshly minted doctor, and then you have multiple opportunities, and there's a lot of confusing information, and you haven't actually made a decision as to how you're going to go ahead with your career, etc. So I was always interested in brain, and I wanted to do something very tangible with my hands,
Right.
like being very responsible for the cure and like that thing. So I felt neurosurgery was my main goal, and the fact that I wanted to be at the at the frontiers of this research in neurosurgery. And generally in India, with a lot of population that we serve, research kind of goes into your background, and you don't get that much opportunity as you would get in US, like what I found it while I was there. So that's why I was always interested that in places where you get more research opportunities, where you have a good work-life balance. And so that was what I was looking for more, rather than it being a little bit monotonous back here. But yeah, so that was the main reason which I thought I'd pursue USMLE. I mean, other things were there. The other options too were there, like Australian exam, and then you have your UK, and then you have Germany, and a lot of good places which offer good opportunities too.
Mhm.
But I just like the US kind of system. I mean, the way they go ahead, and the opportunities for research, and if you're
Right.
truly enterprising, it's much better for us to kind of be there. So that's what actually kind of motivated me to take up USMLE.
Okay, sir. So, what would you like to tell about your experience of these years working, sir? So, what would you like to tell to the other doctors and the other healthcare professionals about your experience?
It was like multiple things at multiple times. Like sometimes it's very daunting. Like you have to give all your time and all your energy to its preparation, and then you don't know how the results are going to be, and it's a very challenging thing. And of course, and in the end of it, you reap good rewards if you have the correct amount of effort, and if you have the correct guidance, the correct preparation, the correct course material. So all these things, like, they combine, and the confluence point, you have a very good the reward at the end. So it's multiple things at multiple times, but mostly it's a very rewarding thing, because at the end of journey, after giving this exams, which whenever you tell anyone that these exams they span for about 8 hours, like that, the first thing is, wow. Like, I mean, if you've gone through so much of this thing, that effort that you have put in, and the result that you get, it's very rewarding kind of experience. So yeah, it's mostly a very challenging and kind of rewarding also at the same time. And of course, the other thing is that you become a better doctor at the end of it. It's not like how in an Indian system, it's more like you try to cram things, and then it's more of a one word answer in Indian system. But in USM, it's more, it makes you a better doctor at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's what I had noticed in this compared to my counterparts. But yeah, it's very good experience.
Yeah. So, sir, as you mentioned about your journey, I'm sure that there must be many difficulties in it as well, because it can't be just the brighter side always. There are sides when, you'll feel difficulties. So would you like to discuss anything about your difficulties or the problem you have faced in this journey?
Yeah. So Of course, yeah, like you said, there's nothing, there's no single side to any journey. There's always this parts which are more difficult to cross over and get to your final destination, what you want to be. So in USMLE journey, I think most of it are more logistical than actual, like an intellectual kind of thing. In fact, coming to this intellectually, it's much easier actually to go
Mm-hmm.
for USMLE. But yeah, logistical wise, there are some things which you need to kind of go through and scale it. So for me, it was the duration of the preparation is a little long. Like
Yeah.
how in Indian exam you just prepare, you have your 12-month period or 6-month period depending on
Mm-hmm.
your exam. But USMLE, you have your own time, so there's nothing that can actually force you to sit and do it unless you decide it for yourself. So one thing, and of course the fact that now of course there are about 3 steps to it, but earlier we had like 4 steps, so it was more daunting and more tedious. So it takes like two years, around 1.5 year, if you really shorten it and give it all your time. It's only preparation. So yeah, one of the thing is that it's for a longer duration.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the difficult part of it, which you'll have to go through. And of course, the other thing is that financially also it costs a lot more than what you're when you're
Paying it.
giving the other exam.
Right.
And of course, even the time that you're going to give, you have to be very disciplined for a long duration of time. That is what that kind of perseverance it requires. It's
Mm-hmm.
not undoable, but yeah, definitely it's a part which you will have to try to contend with, and try to be very sincere along with it. So you need a lot of things also, like management, how to manage your time, and then
Mm-hmm.
build up a lot of strategies along your way, and then like that. So it's of course a little bit difficult. I wouldn't say it's very easy,
Easy. Yeah.
but then it's a lot. If you're smart about it, if you manage it well, it's actually very doable, very enjoyable also then.
Yeah. So like my moving forward, I would now come to the main point, the USMLE. So would you like to tell us about that? That what is USMLE, and how can one get into this USMLE? The whole process. What is it?
Yeah, so like how here we have in our Indian system, how we have the entrance test to get into your residency. USMLE is basically it's a licensure. It's like it's an exam which you need to pass, and then you need to do your residency in US. So that's what the most basic thing about
Mm-hmm.
USMLE is.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, so now of course there have been some structural changes. When I was giving it consisted of like 4 parts. Your step one, and then you have a split in your step two to clinical knowledge and clinical skill assessment, and then of course you have your step three. But I think now we have done away with the clinical skill part, and we have put it more into an operational English test, which comes in your medical practice.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah. So now we have your step one, and then your step two clinical knowledge, and the step three the competitive exam. So this you need to first do this and get into your residency, whichever residency you would want to, and then it's only then and after that you actually can get your license to practice as a physician.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, overall it's just a licensing a kind of an exam.
Yeah, okay. And so like there are, I mean, a lot of people who will come and give you some suggestions on, what to do, how to do. But would you like to tell us something on, what not to do? Like what is the thing that you shouldn't be doing if you are, taking up with the USMLE exam?
Yeah. So like I said, some of the main things that that will keep you going
Mhm.
to your exam, obviously, your perseverance, your hard work, and all that.
Yeah.
So what you shouldn't be doing is just try to learn how to cross your exam just by rote learning. It shouldn't be just by hearting and memorizing that this process should be. It's more about understanding the question and analyzing every aspect of the question. So obviously there's a lot of material that's available. So one thing you need to not do is like have multiple materials, like because
Right.
at the end of the day you'll be jumping from one place to other place, and then finally you'll find that there's information all over the place. Like it's not like very filed information, like where you can want when you want it to retrieve it. So the best thing to do is not go all over the place. Just keep one good I mean, not of course one, you need
Mhm.
at least 2 to 3 references, and then keep going through, make your own notes, and keep doing that. And of course, and one, like I said, it's a long duration. I mean,
Yeah.
preparation itself takes a long period of about 18 months. I mean, probably now it can be shortened out a little more, but
Right.
most people will at least give a 1 year duration for these exams. So what you shouldn't be going on doing is to procrastinate your exam date, because
Yeah.
that was one thing which always most of my friends who were giving like this thing,
Mm-hmm.
no, their preparation is not good. So then again, but then again, of course, if you really think that it is required, definitely you need to do it. But then yeah, so that is one thing. And then yeah, don't just buy hard things and like that, just go through everything, try to understand each question. And like, even when you're answering your questions, don't just
Mm-hmm.
answer your question and just leave it like that. So obviously most of the material that you find now give explanation for even every option that is correct or wrong, and for what
Right.
reason it's correct and what reason it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So just go through all that. Don't just skip it and then think that okay, I've given my exam and this test has I've prepared for this topic and let me not do that.
Yeah.
So the more you do it, I think the more it kind of prepares you for the final test. And of course, one thing is, while most of us would prepare to strengthen our weaknesses, never
Mm-hmm.
forget even your strengths. Just try to keep
Yeah.
doing it even at longer duration, of course, because you're already strong at it. You can just do it you can do it after long duration, like revision. Like if you're going to do pathology, if your strength is pathology, just don't leave, but never neglect any part of it.
Yeah. So, sir, as you just mentioned about the courses and, not to go on so many papers and so many materials. So, I think here academically plays a crucial role. So, I'm sure that you will also be having good information on this. So, would you like to something tell to our audience about academically and how our course of USMLE will be helpful for our students?
Yeah. So because I mean, most of us who will be coming here and trying to guide you guys in each of our field, I mean, we have gone through the experience of it, and so we actually know what exactly what's exactly that's required for you. Instead of like, so that part of your effort kind of can be you can leave that to us, so that we do that, and then you can only concentrate on what is required for the exam, instead of you doing the search and getting through all that, going through all the materials and like that. Instead of that, there's like a single place where you can come and get all your things at a single place, which will kind of help you through the exam. So that's a much better thing than to be going through multiple materials.
Right. Yeah. So now coming to my next question, which I think is very very important, because we are talking about exams and how hard it can get. So I would also like to ask you that apart from all these preparation of education and all these things, how would you like to tell our audience about the mental pressure that they face? Because a lot of people are scared to take the first step in their life. So how to go on taking the first step about all this, because this can be hard on yourself. You may not be able to find you that confident enough to take this ahead. So what would you like to tell to our audience about that part?
Yeah, it is quite again, like coming back, it's quite a long experience. So what you need to do during this preparation period is like time management is what I feel is the most important thing. Of course, it's very difficult for every one of us to concentrate for a long duration of time, to give the best that you have for a long duration of time, because it's impossible to actually have this sustained period of concentration, because you also need to recharge. Your brain also needs to get the rest that it needs and all that. So I think time management is what is the most important right from the beginning. Time management in terms of the exam per se, and even in terms of how much allotment of time you're going to give to each subject. So yeah, that is one very important thing. And of course, when the final D-Day comes, what is going to decide is the composure that you have at that day. Because if you do not have a good night's sleep, or if you have been worrying a lot, then that effect will may shadow your performance in that final day. So along with that, you need to prepare your mind for that kind of competitive mindset, and for that duration, to maintain your calm. So of course, there are a lot of things that you can do. Either some people just tend to not eat food during the full thing, thinking that it's going to take some more of their time. So probably you should good night's sleep, have
Yeah.
good food, and try to stay during. If you think that it's getting too sleepy, because most of the people have actually found they actually doze during the exam, because
Yeah. Right.
they've not been sleeping for long duration.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so in that time, then you can get some energy drinks, and of course you have the facility to do all that.
Yeah.
So So these are some of the tips that this thing. And sometimes, of course, they obviously it's a competitive exam, and they have their own choice of questions that they can ask you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they may throw you a doozer, and then that's it. If you keep on dwelling on that fact that okay, I'm not getting this answer, let me go back
Hmm.
and again read it, again do it, and like finally at you this comes at the expense of other simpler questions which you should be able to which you would be easily able to answer, instead of again trying to get back to your difficult question which has long stem, which has multiple connections that you have to make. So one smart thing about it is try to avoid being clogged up with one single question. So
Yeah.
that as you keep preparing, you'll get that. And yeah, take short breaks, and like how it actual exam is, take short breaks in between your preparation, and
Hmm.
always maintain a very positive mindset. Don't let others influence you. If they are saying that no, it's not going to be a very easy thing, or it's very difficult, or has switched over to Indian exam and I'm more happier here. These are some of the tips which I found I would have known before I ventured for the exam.
Yeah. So, sir, moving forward to my next question, as you have a background of neurology and you have been working in this field. So, what would you like to tell about the background of it? How can one pursue this, or how has USMLE exam helped you in this? And like, just tell us about your background in neurology.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, my specific this thing is actually neurosurgery, and that's like I said, I had always wanted to something more tangible and something which is very challenging. And of course, amongst all the fields, probably neurosurgery is something which ticks all these requirements. So I always liked it. I just that was a way in achieving it, and definitely there's it's very it's something which every one of us are curious about, like how complex it is, and how the demanding, and then the adrenaline kind of rush you get when you're doing such daunting tasks as operating on your brain, etc. So basically it aligned with my career goals. It kind of helped me to take up neurosurgery.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for answering this. And like my next question would be on USMLE, as you have cleared all your exams. So, what would you like to tell us about the USMLE? Like, how did you begin studying for USMLE exam? What was it like? How?
So I had first, of course, coming to the decision is the first thing that you have to do, like whether you want to take up USMLE or not. And then yeah, so once you take up USMLE and then you've gone through all the process, gone through the website and everything, then you have a mental idea of what exactly you're looking at. What is your kind of, because they've been it's detailed very well in their website about the complete details, etc. So then once you know that you're going to do USMLE, then of course you have to then make your schedule. Okay, I'm going to take like 4 months, I'm going to take 5 months, I'm going to take 6 months, depending on how your preparation for MBBS was. So for me, my basics were, I mean, I was not very good at basics, frankly. So
Yeah.
I kind of took more time to prepare for my step one. Normally, my friends used to take about an year and a half at that time for step one. So I had taken about some 6 to 7 months for my step one. So the first thing you need to do is just prepare break your schedule. Like how do you want to do it? Exactly in what time period, etc., and like that. And the first thing you should also be doing is research your study material. What do you want to do? What do you want to refer to? What notes do you want to make? Or what test formats do you want to take? Because I think now there I mean, like plenty, a dozen about firms are there which give you multiple this thing, like you have your U-World, you have your first aid, you have your Kaplan, your multiple these things are there. So you have first decide about what you want, read all those reviews, make that your only goal, and plan about how you want to do it and in which time period you have to do all this.
Yeah.
And then you have to be very consistent about it. Like from day one, from the word go, you have to be very consistent and try to just stick to all the schedule. Of course, it's not possible each day, but for most of the time, it should be like that. And of course, you also should be having correct guidance so that you actually know what whether in the long term, in a bird's eye view, if you're at the correct path, your pathway is correct, like that. So again, some sort of guidance also should be there. So I think that's what would be.
So I think it's a mixture of everything, like the proper guidance, consistency, the challenges and everything, and then only you'd be able to pass this. Yeah. But if you think that, if you believe in you, I think this will not be that difficult.
Yeah, exactly. That's what.
Yeah. So coming to my next question, sir. So, like, can you share your study schedule? Like, how did you do it? Any topics, any things that you would like to tell to our aspiring students on this?
Yeah, so this USMLE is known for its dynamicity. So, at a point, so depending on what the current prevalent situation is, that's how their question formats mostly change. So that they try to get doctors who are more aware of the situation at that time, because that's what they would want their doctors to be like. So, and of course, it also depends on, on the division of marks in
Mm-hmm.
subject wise. So of course, obviously pathology generally takes a big chunk of your weightage. So that's what, so which I was kind of good at. So it's basically about measuring your weaknesses, in which subjects are you weak and all that. And then once you know which subject you want to more concentrate
Mm-hmm.
on, and then you can decide about the rest of the factors and plan accordingly.
Okay.
For me, I kind of had this at when I was giving, we had immunology, which was a very hot topic at that time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of immunology and microbiology and
Right.
biostatistics, rather than very straightforward, like say biochemistry or some other system wise, like musculoskeletal or radiology or something like that. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, more of biostats and microbiology and immunology, and generally we tend to ignore that much in during our MBBS curriculum. So that's one thing which you might have to which will take more time. So I had to concentrate on that. And I think nowadays there's a lot of this traumatic brain injury. There's a lot of discussion about that in the US health scenario. So probably talking about a lot of brain injuries, then your PTSDs, because they have a lot of this lot of people, servicemen who come post war, and then they go through all this kind of PTSDs and this psychiatric problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So, like, sir, can you share your experience on the exam day? Like, how was it? How was the questions, and what all questions did they cover? So, how was your experience on the like examination day for USMLE?
Yeah, so that's what, like I said, it's like a very adrenaline, like a culmination of all your 3 to 6 months of preparation. So yeah, it was very challenging, and of course, it had its own rewards, etc. And yeah, finally, the way how I schedule my breaks, the pace at which I answer the questions, how I mark them, how I reviewed them. So all of that will have a they'll have a very contributory way to final result how it is. So it was very challenging, and it was very rewarding too at the end of it. It's very memorable thing. I mean, the
Yeah.
way the period, the duration of preparation itself is quite memorable. The journey itself will kind of make you a much better doctor than you would do without it.
Yeah, I'm sure about that, sir. So, like, on that note, sir, what, according to you, are the most common challenges or difficulties that an aspiring USMLE student faces?
Yeah, so some challenges would be, depending on how it was during your MBBS preparation, during that, depending on that, that's one this thing. And then, of course, the time period, like I had mentioned, it's a long thing. You have to persevere through the whole duration. There are a lot of periods when you can get discouraged, and you see your peers who are already, who are doing their PG, and then they boast about, like, when you're having conversation with them, it can feel a little bit demotivating like that. So these are something which you have to kind of take care. Those are those pitfalls which you will need to avoid. So always try to be in a group in the same cohort as you, like your friends who are preparing. Of course, now it's much more easy because you have lots of media. I mean, WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups where you meet a lot of people, here in India and beyond all around the globe. So now it's actually a little more easier to get that kind of motivation that you require. And when you're down, your partner, and your study partner is also one important thing which kind of will help you for your preparation.
Yeah.
So these are some of the challenging things which you can deal with.
Yeah. And so now coming to the like most important point, that what are the job opportunities available in USA, or what kind of jobs you get, how many opportunities are available, what is the like salary structure. Like, I want to know it all, and I'm sure that our audience also want to know this majorly, because the main things, the people in their mind, they start thinking that how much am I going to get, how do I get the job that I am worthy of. So just tell about the whole process of job opportunities and salaries as well.
Yeah. So obviously, I think financial remuneration is one of the big reason why most people tend to look towards the West, because they have much better. I mean, relatively, they have a little higher remuneration than what Indian doctors get. And of course, the job opportunities wise, depending that's a very subjective thing. Like some people, they kind of want a more academic place. Some people would want a more of a community kind of a practice, and then some people would like a balance between the two. Some would like to go only into research, but the thing about US is that it's got everything to cater to every need. So if I want to go into a purely academic center where I want to do more of research, where I want to not leave the clinical side at the same time. So I mean, you have multiple academic centers of excellence. I mean, some of the excellent, the best universities are obviously, most of them are from there. And then, of course, if you want to have a more of a chill life where you can balance your job with your work life with your personal life, then there's nothing like being there, because I mean, like here you'll be working at least most of, if you're in your clinical side, at least I'm pretty sure you'll be working 7 days a week, 24
Okay.
hours a day, and 365 days. So there you are entitled to your break. I mean, like you tend to get more leaves, you get more offs, and then Saturday Sunday comes, and you don't need to actually work even those days. Of course, there are
Mhm.
schedules that you have to go through, but more often than not, you will be left with good work-life balance when you're there. And of course, the remuneration is obviously very good depending on which branch you want. Obviously, neurosurgery is one of the most high-paying
Yeah.
fields. And surgical fields are generally more. They pay you more, and most of them are around $300,000 to $400,000 per year, which is quite a good pay. I mean,
Yeah,
we
definitely.
doctors
A very,
themselves
very
are,
good.
yeah, that's what. So doctors themselves say you generally are in the 1% of the most in the affluent people there. So it's a very good, even financially, it's kind of a really good choice to take up.
Yeah. So, guys, I think any of you who has this confusion of, the job opportunities and the salary structure, you can hear from the doctor itself that, the average salary is 300 to $400,000, which is not bad at all. So, obviously, you can consider giving this exam. And so, like, I would like to ask you this question that, why a person or a doctor should consider giving USMLE exam?
Yeah, so like I said, there are multiple options actually when you're at
Yeah.
gateway where you just finished your MBBS. You're looking what do I want to do? Then of course, then you have your multiple like Australian, European boards, Australian boards, your UK boards, and all that. So USMLE I had chosen basically because I like that way of the life, because it's like
Mhm.
you put in the amount of work you want and then you get the results that you want. But
Right.
more often than not, in like say if you're going to Europe, it's more of NHS based deployment that you get, and it's of course I wouldn't say it's very bad. Definitely, it's a lot better than what we get. The fruits that we get here, it's definitely better in UK. But then it's not for me. I felt that it was not as great or as generous as it was in US. And then of course even I kind of like the US system, so that was the main reason that pushed me to choose it. So I like that kind of life, so that's why I've chosen it.
Okay, sir. And so, like, my next question is how one should plan after giving the USMLE exam. Like, like what is the next process? Like, if, for example, I am a doctor and I have cleared the USMLE exam, how do I move forward with this?
Yeah. How? So the thing is, once you finish your MLE exam and all your scores are ready, and you're done with this thing, then obviously you need to start applying for the match, which is basically your NRMP. Once you start applying for your match, and then you apply for all your get all your documents ready, your LORs, letters of recommendation, your score scripts and everything, get them ready, and you have to follow their website up when the date opens, and when you need to choose your priorities, and how to fill your forms and everything, and then finally wait for the match program, I mean for the results of the match, and depending on where you're matched, and you have to take a lot of this thing consideration when you're putting you're ranking your programs, like which you are most preferring and all like that. And depending on that, you also get your interviews, and this match system is a little bit, I mean, we don't know what happens there, but yeah, finally when you get your call that you have been selected or rejected, then that's how you go about it.
Okay, sir. I think I've asked my questions. Just the last one, which I really want to know, and would people also would love to know about this. Like, what according to you is the best resource to prepare for the exam for USMLE?
So yeah, I had always felt that there's a UL question bank, which is a default Bible for everyone who wants to prepare for USMLE, because that basically tests your weaknesses, your strengths, and which all opportunities you have, where you can actually improve your these things, and then find out where your where the other pitfalls that you have. So I felt that UL is one of the very good material in terms that you keep on doing it, redoing it, redoing it, and redoing it, and then you're prepared for your exam. And of course, after that you have your first aid, which
Yeah.
you have to just know it by heart. Of course, you need to understand it too, but then yeah, it should, that recall factor should be very good when you're doing
Yeah.
your first aid. And then you
Okay.
have your NBME examination papers. So those also are they'll help you a lot. Just keep on redoing, and definitely you will get few, some at least around 10 to 15 questions from some of these NBME papers. And of course, after that, if you have more time, then definitely you can get into the actual texts of the exam. Like if you're into pathology,
Mhm.
take some of the golden textbooks or other material if you have time. But I think the more often than not, these three preparatory material would suffice actually to give you a very
Okay.
strong base to actually face it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm done with my questions, Doctor. Thank you so much for answering all those questions. And I'm sure that our viewers, our aspiring doctors, will definitely get a lot of help and information from this. I'm really, really thankful to you for coming here and giving us your precious time. And, guys, Academically is here for you all, let me tell you. And we are here for your all professional help, any exam that you are preparing for, which is based out in USA, UK, Australia, we are there to help you, and we have all the courses for you already. You just have to come to us, connect with us on our website, our all social media platforms with the name of Academically, and we will definitely be there to ping you back and solve all your queries. So, thank you so much, Doctor, and thank you everyone for watching us. And I'll be coming up with more such sessions. Academically is going to be here and help you all in passing all your exams. So don't worry, and don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and comment below if you want any other topics, any exam courses, preparation questions. If you have, you can comment below, and we will be there to help. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure being here.